this show going the normal way.
Yeah.
It's just there.
You are now listening to...
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value!
I do tend to explode only when by myself.
It's called play therapy. No medication, no suicide thoughts.
That's evil. Being stupid about it is evil.
I'll let myself off. I know where the emergency exits are.
That right there, that's a passenger running along the tarmac after jumping from the plane, the emergency exit.
Let's go to John in San Diego. What's going on, John?
Can you address the Bohemian Grove?
You start calling me a foreign agent, those are fucking fighting words, excuse me.
I believe that I am capacitated to sit in the emergency exit row of this
But in the event of an emergency, your regular exit might not be the quickest or safest way out. Emergency exit.
Hey! This emergency exit is painted on!
There's no way out! There's no way out! We're doomed!
That's right. Now is the time to open your mind. In our search for the unknown, who knows what we will find? This is Emergency Exit. This is episode 60. Today is December 4th, 2017. We are broadcasting to you again from our floating tin can. I'm your host, Los. With me, as always, is Brandon, the Hard Hat Mitchell.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
And Nick, the Passion Mason Slayer Rider. That's right.
That's right.
The
I'm
passionate.
just going to lump them all together.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a good week. It's been a fun week. Everyone's had good times. This week on the show, men living as Dalmatian dogs and children's mass shooting drawings later when we got the news. But first, E.T.s, extraterrestrials, they're on their shit out there. We have our eyes and ears to the skies. So many claims of alien or E.T. visits and encounters, but who can we trust? This week, we explore claims by the man, the authorita, the NASholes themselves, NASA employees, and the astronauts when we travel into the mystic. But first, let's do a Brew World Order.
It's the Brew World.
Welcome to Brew World Order. All y'all that hit us up for a koozie, you guys should be expecting that koozie very soon. We've sent the first round
wave
of them out, so enjoy that. We've got the Texas Pale Ale from South Austin Brewery. And I haven't cracked mine open. Mr. Passion over there just could not wait.
I couldn't.
So did Mr. Furry over here.
Yeah, couldn't wait.
But I'm going to go ahead and crack mine open in the new tradition that I'm starting where I'm going to be the last one to open it. Oh, did you hear that? That was the sound of goodness right there. All right, take a little sip. Smells good. It's floral. This is pretty. This is pretty good, man.
Wow, it was okay.
It's an American Pale Ale. Alcohol by volume is 5.5. Nick, what do you think of it?
It's not terrible. Like the taste is, I feel actually kind of middle. You know, like I don't get a lot of strong flavor out of it.
You don't, or you don't get that extra bitter factor from it.
It just kind of there. To be honest with you, I'm not getting a lot. It's not giving me much to work with here. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not like if someone was like, "Hey, Nick, have one of these TPAs," I wouldn't be like, "Oh, fuck, no." But I also wouldn't go out of my way to buy it again. I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, you tried it, now you know.
Right.
You
I definitely think it's like branding more like an IPA, so it's not like Indian Pale Ale, but it's Texas, motherfucker. So we call it a Texas Pale Ale.
Right, but I mean, Pale Ale is its own type of beer outside of IPA.
I guess I don't really know the difference.
You can get
I
pale
guess
ales
it's
and
more of a hop. You add more hops to IPA or Indian hops or some shit.
Well, no. Now, I heard, I don't know because I'm not a big beer connoisseur, but I heard that India Pale Ales, they were made extra hoppy so that when they sent them to India, they could last on the trip. Like, you put more hops in it for preservation, I guess, and that's why IPAs tend to be so much more hoppy, way back in their days.
Yeah, well,
when it was like a monk stew.
No one's going to disagree with you on that.
I'm sure there's someone out there who could be like, no, you fucking idiot. And if that's the case, write in and let me know. I claim to not know the truth. That's just something I heard. But this is not, because regular pale ale is a thing. It's a separate type of beer than an IPA. So I don't think that they're trying to be IPA. They're just, there's American pale ale, but then there's Texas pale ale, because Texas is better than America.
Yeah. Goddamn right.
So it's like a marketing.
I get.
Gotcha. Yeah, it makes sense.
So I'm going to give it, yes, Walter, you are wrong. I'm going to give it, I'm going with a 2.35.
Wow, that's a low score.
Yeah, I'm just not impressed by it.
All right, Brandon, what do you think?
I am just whelmed. Not over or under, just straight whelmed.
Yeah.
All right, Brandon, what do you think?
I'm not up to, all the verbiage like you guys are. Like, I could not tell you the difference. I have learned, though, since doing this, I don't like the hoppy beers. Those are a little heavy for me. Not quite as enjoyable. So, just drinkability kind of is what factors in to me. I'm going to rate it 2.7.
Wow, you guys don't like this beer.
So guess who gets the rest of them?
Man, all right.
Burpee pants over there.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say I do love it's a sweet caramel tasting hop and bitterness that I like.
Get that at all, man.
You don't get any of that?
No, not. What do you get?
I'm not getting any caramel at all. No.
It's right there. Can't you see? Right there on my tongue. I taste the caramel right there. And,
here, let me
try it again. See if it might change your mind. Oh, he just changed his mind to a 1.
Nope. 2.7.
Well, I'm going to give this a solid 4.3.
Oh, wow.
Which it's still up there for me. I dig it very much. I could drink this. It only has 5.5 alcohol, so if I want to drink something, I want to drink something that's worth it. Or drink, Miller Lite, because it's easy and it's basically water.
Damn right.
And so 4.3 is what I said.
There we go.
Right? That's the Brew World Order.
Am I wrong?
It's the Brew World Order.
All right, you guys, let's go.
Flirting? No.
That'd be sweet if we go flirting. We don't have any flirting.
I saw someone posted an article about, the Mars rover or whatever. Like, there's a picture of Mars and how they have, like, red sunsets or some shit. Like, and then someone goes, why isn't there a flat Mars society? What's up with that? Why is it only Earth that's flat? And then actual Flat Earth Society commented on it, said, because Mars has been proven to be round, idiots.
Oh,
like, okay. Come on, flirters.
Right. Well, anyway. Because they can observe it from where they are.
Okay, so that one's round, but we're still flat.
Yeah.
Perfect
logic there.
Well, round is still the shape of
round
the flat
round,
Earth.
Goes around, comes around.
Goes around. Well, if we're going to go around what comes around, let's go into the mystic then.
All right.
It was back in 2005. John Lear, who we talked about before.
King Lear.
No, John Lear. His father was the inventor of the Lear jet. He was being interviewed on Coast to Coast AM with George Navoy there when they received a phone call from Jackie.
Jackie?
Not Jackie Lynn Ellison, as we all know.
You don't know. Could have been.
It could have been. Well, we're going to have to listen to it here in a second. She said she lived outside of Vegas. And Jackie, claiming to have worked for NASA as a technician back in the 70s, handling the telemetry feed for the Viking Mars lander, calls in hoping Lear can help solve her 20-year-old mystery.
Hi, I'm having an interesting night tonight, aren't we?
It is, indeed. And where might we be?
I'm Jackie. John, I'm hoping you can solve the 27-year-old mystery for me.
I thought this was 12 years ago, so
maybe.
maybe.
Do you know what was going on in 1979?
Where?
Well, on Mars.
No.
Okay.
What was going on in 79 on Mars?
Well, I used to work at NASA during that time, and handling downlink telemetry. And one night on our video monitors, while the little Viking rover was running around, I see two men in suits, not necessarily space suits. I mean, they looked protective, but they didn't look like the bulky things that our astronauts use. But they came over the horizon, walking towards the Viking Explorer, and our vision got cut off. I didn't see what they did with it or anything else.
They were probably making repairs.
Well, that's why I was wondering if they were our guys or not. Cause
yeah, they were.
You know what kind of suits they wore?
Pardon?
Do you know what kind of suits they wore?
Well, they wouldn't have to wear very much. I mean, the atmosphere is... there's enough atmosphere to walk around without a spacesuit on Mars, same as there is on the moon. I mean, there's not. It's like about 15,000 feet on Earth. Now, you can go through a 24-hour acclimatization program on the moon, and you can walk around without a spacesuit. Same thing on Mars. You don't need a spacesuit. If they had one,
can we send him up there to find out?
Did you have any other witnesses there while you saw this?
Well, there's about well, out of the workers, there's probably about a half a dozen of us, because we were. You've seen the typical NASA things where they got all the monitors.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you had a few people out there monitoring the monitors.
Yeah, you got about the people that were up there, and then there's about a half a dozen of us downstairs because it was just maintaining the equipment, because if anything went wrong, we had to get it up quick so they didn't miss the telemetry.
You folks must have been amazed at what you saw.
Yeah, because when we saw that and they cut off our video downstairs, of course we ran upstairs, and they've got almost side doors upstairs. They have those little windows. I don't know if have you been there?
I have not. No.
Okay. Well,
oh,
they got
you mean in the control room at NASA? Yeah, totally.
To the back, what we call nosebleed section in most stadiums and stuff. But anyway, you come out there, and we could look through the little window in that because they had just locked the door, and they normally don't lock it on us. But anyway, they just locked the door, and then they came, we saw some more on their monitors, and then they came over with some paper taped over the door.
They clipped it. Can you imagine
Jackie,
that, John?
I appreciate you calling and telling us that story. It is great, and it just confirms what's going on.
Can you imagine that, John? There they are looking at their telemetry, and they spot the monitors, and they're looking at the rover or piece of it, and all of a sudden they see two human beings walking into the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. They were just like Mars rover, cleaning off the dust. They had their paper towels and Windex, and receive the signals.
Okay, is it just me or does that guy sound too much like Gary Busey?
It did sound like Gary.
Like that dude.
Like he's talking, he's talking through his teeth. Yeah.
I can't do a very good Gary Busey impression. That was one Gary Busey sounding motherfucker.
Yeah. So what do we?
So we don't need spacesuits. You can just go through a climatization period, and you can just walk around on the moon just like Mars. You don't need any kind of protective suit.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what he was trying to say.
And we have people that can just regularly just go up and land on Mars to walk around and do Windex style maintenance on a fucking Mars rover.
And he seemed to know exactly what it was too. He was like, "Oh yeah, they were probably cleaning it."
And how does this guy know? His dad invented the Learjet, so he knows about secret Mars missions.
Yeah, well, he said he also Lear worked for a rocket company. That's what they say. He worked for this rocket company, this very famous rocket company that was used during the Apollo missions.
Okay.
And he was not even part of any of that. He was like a writer for the company. He wasn't a scientist for them. The only claim of fame he's got is his father invented the Learjet, and I might be wrong with that. It might be his grandfather, but it's someone close, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was it his father?
I mean, I think so. That seems right father, because the Learjet is I think it came about in like the 70s, so that would make sense time wise.
Yeah, I mean it couldn't be a bunch of
yeah. Just like, we were up there with some Windex, cleaning off the rover there. I don't know why I went to Kermit,
gets dusty,
but like we can just send someone up over the weekend to fucking Mars to Windex off a Mars rover.
You
Rocket
see,
Man.
they just put
Rocket Man. That's what Elton John was actually singing about.
Yeah. He was singing about that Rocket Man. The ones that clean off the rover, man.
I miss my wife so much, but this Mars rover needs dusted.
Yeah,
it's got to happen.
So what are they talking about? The Viking program. So are you guys familiar with this Viking program? NASA has?
Yes,
All
I
right,
do recall.
Let me refresh your memory if you don't. It's consisted of a pair of American space probes sent to Mars, Viking 1 and Viking 2.
Oh, like a pair.
Yeah, they were a pair, like Banana 1 and Banana 2. So these were Vikings and Dykings. Okay. Each spacecraft was composed of two main parts, an orbiter designed to photograph the surface of Mars from orbit and a lander designed to study the planet from the surface. The orbiters also served as communication relays for the landers once they touched down. And a little fun fact that it takes 20 minutes for radio waves to get from Mars to America, to Houston, to the Earth.
Back to NASA.
So when they were trying to land the whatchamacallit, the rover as they were calling it, but more the lander, that they didn't even know when it touched down until 20 minutes after it happened.
And if something fucked up, there's like you can't make any last minute adjustments or course correction.
Yeah. 20 minutes, man. That just gives you an idea of the vast distance that is in our universe. 20 minutes,
dude.
Man.
And
Okay, so I mean, we could send someone there over lunch break if it only takes 20 minutes.
That's at the speed of light.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
What? Yeah, I don't think he got you there.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this? What do you think about this claim?
I've never been to Mars, nor have I seen. I'm sure that if the footage from this lander did show two humanoids walking up to it, I mean, they wouldn't even let their own people see it. They cut the feed to that. There's no fucking way they're going to let us see it. So I'm not saying that she didn't see something, I guess. I have no way of knowing whether or not she saw something. But was it two of our guys that we sent up there that don't need protection? I think Gary Busey Lear here is full of shit. That's what I'm saying.
You might be right, dude.
He's just trying to make a name for himself.
I mean, he just was like so nonchalant, like, yep, I know all about this. That's just what it was. Yep, routine maintenance.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need a spacesuit when you're up there. You just go through some conditioning.
Well, Arnold had it fucking wrong in Total Recall then. His eyes are bulging out. No? Okay. That might be a bit too old of a reference, everybody. Sorry.
I don't think so. It was a Total Recall, man.
I totally recalled it.
What about you, Brando? What do you think?
I mean, I want to believe it just because that's like exciting, But it's kind of hard if she's the only person who saw it or whatever. It's kind of hard to prove it. You just have to believe her. There has to be more evidence than that somewhere in some form.
Well, I mean, she said there were 6 people in there with her, and that was just in her other level. When they ran up to the main spot, they had it locked up and papered off. So there would be other people that saw it in her story.
Where are they?
They just
somebody had to have.
Oh, they all got
their silence had been bought.
I tried to look for them, but they all died from either
see, this is where it gets
suicide to the
interesting.
back of the head.
Oh yeah,
so shooting themselves in the back of the head. And,
he was shot twice in the head, and it was ruled suicide.
And jumping off of buildings, but it was like much further away than a jump would actually be.
So more like
they
tossed
off, but it's considered
tossed like a salad.
They got tossed off. Now here's the problem right off the bat, all right? You couldn't find any evidence that Viking is a rover. And she kept saying that there was a rover, right? It was a lander. It's stationary. So Jackie's claims that the old Viking rover was running around, as she said.
Yeah, she just running around all casually, like a kid on Saturday morning.
It might mean that she knows nothing about it and made it up, but that's just this podcaster's opinion here. I think someone who's a professional knows their equipment and would say something and wouldn't make such a mistake like calling something like that a rover.
Sure, and like I feel that you'd been, like they were with it for so long and talked about it so often that you wouldn't, like if it was a lander, then you, as a part of that program, would have been calling it a lander for the years it was developed, sending it up there the whole time it was up there. You'd always be saying lander. You wouldn't all of a sudden say rover.
Call it a VL or something, the Viking lander.
Like you would have something you've been calling it for years, and that's like ingrained into you to call it that. And then also to not think, or to think that it's just out there running around when it was a stationary item. I mean, that's another.
Yeah, precisely, man.
Obvious bullshit.
And as for Lear, man, he's a kook, man. He's a straight.
He's a nut.
He's a nut.
That's
there
right. He's the no blast crater guy. He said, "Why isn't there a blast crater under the lunar module?" And that was like my thing. I was like, "Oh man, where's the?" When you realize, no, it didn't just land straight down to where there'd be a blast crater. Of course, there would be one when they left, but the lunar.
But then the cameras were gone too.
That's right. I think I said it in the episode.
So he thinks we faked the moon landing, but we like weekly go up to Mars.
Well, I think he's alluding that they're going to some red place, where it's like red rocks or something, and they've got a camera
so this
there.
is all fake too.
Oh, sure.
Well, yeah, you don't. You know what? You don't need protection from the atmosphere in red rocks. He's right.
That's what he's
You
trying
can
to say.
you can just walk
That's
around
all
there
it
without
is,
a
yeah,
spacesuit.
yeah. You might get sunburned or
It could
something.
be a
but-
coup.
You're probably gonna get high as fuck if you're at the amphitheater, but
He might be part of the whole coup in the first place, you know. But we need more of a credible source. So let's go to
All right,
a
what you
more
got?
credible source here.
I was hoping you had one.
How about a man who actually walked on the moon?
Hey, there we go.
That's right. And it's your long lost second cousin, Dr. Edgar Mitchell.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yeah. Is he part of the family tree?
Yeah, he's one. He's a great guy, but we don't typically associate ourselves with him because it's he's just accomplished so much compared to everybody else.
Is it like he comes over for dinner and he's like, "Oh man, you know what? On the moon, we only had."
Yeah, that's what it is. Like after that, it's just like, man, how do you top that?
Yeah.
What did I do this summer?
Right.
Oh man.
Why is your turkey so dry?
Oh, Brandon graduated with 3.7 GPA. Oh, great. Well, when I was on the moon.
Yeah, it gets old after a while. Okay.
He wasn't really related to him. He was instead a U.S. Navy officer, aviator, test pilot, aeronautical engineer, and a ufologist. Is that how it's-
all of those up
ufologist?
to there was very credible, and then ufologist.
Ufologist.
Is that how you would say it? A UFOologist or a ufologist?
I believe it's just ufologist.
UFO. It's so stupid.
I believe, which because then you're cutting out the O of UFO, but still.
Let's see. He was on Apollo 14. He was an astronaut for that, and the sixth man to walk on the moon.
Nice. You know, hey man, 6 ain't bad.
And he swore on a Bible that he did. Listen to this.
Say, I, Edgar Mitchell.
I, Edgar Mitchell.
Affirm.
Affirm.
Under penalty of eternal damnation.
I don't believe that.
Under
penalty of eternal damnation.
That I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
That I walked on the moon on Apollo 14.
Well, you know, you're the first astronaut to do that. We asked 6 other astronauts.
You can cut that there. Yeah,
You're the first astronaut. Yeah, because you're a fucking idiot in the first place, man. Get out of here with that shit.
Yeah, Bart, what's his face? We didn't even deserve our
not even worthy of
good mention, because if someone said, if you went somewhere, you know, and someone's yelling at that to your face and then calling you a liar and a coward, and he's like, he got punched in the face by Buzz Aldrin.
Right, because Buzz didn't take no shit. You try to tell him that was fake. Them's fighting words. I'll kick your fucking goddamn ass.
But you know, there's a pretty funny documentary. It's about an hour long on YouTube. It's called "Astronauts Gone Wild," and it's
showing their titties on boats for a hat.
Wow.
They're taking
I
off
remember
their
those,
spacesuit in space.
Because by now they've all got old man titties, so they can actually flash them out there.
Well, and in space, there's zero gravity.
Oh, sure.
So
Even better.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm thinking like Professor Farnsworth out there, just wrinkled old man titties floating around.
Good news, everyone.
Good news, everyone. My middies are out.
All right, so
man titties. Get it? Okay, never mind.
Your middies, yes. So he's all about trying to expose alien
Himself.
life, not exposing himself, but I was talking about the whole astronauts gone wild. There's that dick face that goes and he shows people this footage of Apollo 10 or 11 where they're showing Earth through this porthole, but they're trying to show that they're up close on the porthole and then that the Earth is far away. In fact, that the Earth is filling up the space in the porthole, and they've they're in the back of the ship filming the actual porthole, and it looks like Earth is so far away. And he's shown that to them, and they're just like, as soon as the astronauts see that, they go nutty. They go, "Who are you? What is this all about? You ambushed me!" And he's like, "Oh, fuck you. Go ahead and sue me." And then he wants Edgar Mitchell kicked him in his ass. So let's listen back to good old Ed about a massive alien cover-up that starts as far back as Roswell. So let's listen to this.
All's well that all Roswell.
We're not alone, and have for many, many years, even though, but at the time I went to the moon, it was the conventional wisdom, both in science and theology, that we were alone in the universe. We're just barely out of the trees, even though we think we're rather sophisticated. But I do like to tell the story that my great-grandparents came across from southern United States to the west after our Civil War. And I went to the moon less than 100 years later. They came across in covered wagons. So from covered wagons to going to the moon in less than 100 years in our lifetime is a rather significant event. It tells us how primitive we have been until the modern era, and we're still rather primitive. Because of my openness to these things, I did have many of the old-timers in the military and in the intelligence community over the years wanting to get it off their chest before they passed away, allowed me to interview them and talk to them about it. And so my ideas became fairly well solidified in the fact we've been visited. We have to remember that right after World War II, the Army Air Force was separated and became the Air Force, a separate branch of service. And that the OSS, which was the Office of Special Services, was disbanded and eventually became the CIA. So that here was a major military organization and a major intelligence organization totally in disarray, new founded, didn't know what they were doing after World War II and not really reorganized yet. And as a result of that, the President Truman at that time convened a very high-level committee to examine this alien or UFO phenomenon. They did come to the conclusion that it was alien, and the military rightly came to the conclusion, if they're hostile, there's nothing we can do about it. Therefore, their choice was to deny it and to hush it up and create the National Security Act of 1947, which validated that deception and covered it up and allowed the group to go underground, as it were. And we've been living with that now for 50 years. It is really the beginning of the whole cover-up, the entire denial of this phenomenon. And the addition of dismissal, disinformation, misinformation to cloak and to discourage investigation, to misinform. It's just been continuous for many, many years now. Eventually it came away from the fear, I believe, of not being able to protect and do their duty to the notion of power and control, controlling the knowledge and the technology. And the group involved with that is still doing it. We have created our reality here, and we have created it right now rather badly, for it's not a sustainable reality. We have created, with our science and technology, instead of using it for the greater good, it's been captured by interest, greed, self-service, which is rife. And instead of using it, all of our technology and our brilliance and genius for greater good, we use it for self-service. And that's not going to work. It's important that we look at our civilization, our place in history, use our tools of science for greater understanding, to promote the greater good, and that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about there. So Mitchell's interests included consciousness and paranormal phenomena, and on his way back to Earth during Apollo 14, he had a powerful, a major religious experience there. And also claimed to have conducted private ESP experiments with his friends on Earth. The results said experiments were published in the Journal of Parapsychology in 1971. He was also into remote healing. Here's something really interesting you're going to love about this guy. You listening, Nick? Mitchell claimed that a teenage remote healer living in Vancouver using the pseudonym Adam Dream Healer helped him heal kidney cancer from a distance.
Okay.
Yes, Mitchell said that he never had a biopsy, but he had a sonogram and an MRI that was consistent with retinal carcinoma. Adam worked distantly on Mitchell from December 2003 until June 2004, when the regularity was gone, and he hasn't seen it since. So there, it proves for remote healing right there.
Yeah.
And that was because of Adam Dreamweaver.
Adam Dreamweaver.
Interesting. So I know there was the government program, right? Didn't they call it like the Jedi program? It was kind of a secret part of even the CIA where they tried to deal with like.
Well, I think that's that Clooney movie.
Right, they made a movie out of it, but it was a program. Like they did do shitloads of LSD and try to experiment with expanding the mind and like remote seers and cloud bursting and shit like that.
Yeah,
that has come out that they. I mean, I'm not saying they were ever successful, but it was something that they studied and tried to do. So it seems like maybe Mitchell was.
I'm sure that they need to
was
find
involved
these
in that.
things
Maybe.
Possibly.
Who knows?
He was a NASA astronaut in the early beginnings, and they were just essentially test pilots, which were guinea pigs.
Sure.
So I'm sure it's possible they could have done all sorts of classified experiments on
I think it was Buzz Aldrin, or one of the other astronauts was saying, "We're just passengers." When he was shown this, he's like, "You need to talk to the head of NASA. We're just passengers."
Right. They threw us in this can and fucking lit a fire under it.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, NASA and space people,
NASA.
the space people. So as for this guy's credibility and his need to know and try to get the aliens out so everybody knows, and he doesn't want anybody. Is he a credible source? Is he with this whole remote healing thing? I thought I found a good credible source, but Edgar Mitchell.
I don't know. The more he went on, the more I kind of was falling off the Mitchell train.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, when you were listing his accomplishments, aerospace engineer, all that, and then just ufologist, like, whoa, hang on, that almost. Oh, all right, this will be interesting.
Well, everyone's got a hobby, and that's probably his hobby. Some people want to collect stamps. Some people want to collect baseball cards. What does this guy collect?
UFOs.
He wants to collect aliens. It sounds like.
Sure, why not?
And we're back. So hey guys, we're gonna do some news here for you. News, and traffic on the fives.
Is it one of the fives?
We actually just did traffic.
We just did traffic.
Okay. Okay, we just did traffic. We'll just do the news then. Here we go.
Got the news with Nick and Los. That's right. We coming at you, coming with the light. We got the news. We've got the news. We've got the news. We've got the news. Yeah. We got the news with Nick and Los. That's right.
All right, so I've got right now up on the screen here, and you can see it. This is from viralthread.com. We are going to meet the grown man who lives his life as a domesticated
That's an impressive
dog.
suit.
Isn't that pretty cool?
I gotta say,
pretty pricey.
Looks great.
Look at that. That guy really, he is getting into it.
That girl's really into it, too. Look at her face. She's
Yeah. Like, I fucking till death do us part. Could I just die already?
So I'm gonna read this right off of Viral Threads website here.
Real quick, this makes me think of Community. If you've ever watched the show Community, best show put on television, how the dean was obsessed with men dressed as Dalmatians.
No.
It was like a big fetish that he had.
Wow.
Hey, why don't you read this then, Nikki, right there?
All right, is it about the dean?
It's about the dean then.
We all have hobbies, and while some may be more unusual than others, many would argue that they're still valid. But what if your hobby revolved around dressing up as man's best friend in the form of a spotty Dalmatian?
That's crazy.
Oh, wait, maybe I should read it like a comedy movie announcer. But what if Rob Schneider stars in The Dalmatian?
Yes. Do it that way.
Well, as it turns out, there's a whole community of people who enjoy assuming a canine persona. Wearing custom-made costumes. He made that fucking thing, Jesus. Custom-made costumes. They live life on all fours bound by a collar.
That's great.
So it's like, if BDSM isn't enough,
you have to put on a dog suit.
Yeah. One of these daring and brazen canine impersonators is 32-year-old Tom Peters, who made an appearance on the British daytime TV show This Morning. While on the show, Peters, who goes by the name of Spot... Oh, gee, come on.
Like...
Man, dude.
talked about his peculiar penchant for dressing like a puppy and also acting the part.
Look at
Me
this-
and 100 of my friends dress up like Dalmatians and piss on Cruella de Vil's car. Yeah.
Holy shit, those are like legitimate pads.
Paws and
for
everything.
His feet.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah, I see the appeal of wanting to be a dog.
Hey,
'cause-
honey, can we do it doggy style tonight?
Nick's on it. Nick loves the story. You keep going.
He claims that his dog costume helps him to assume the persona of a pup. I'm sorry, when you're 32, man, even in dog
You
years,
gotta
that's
put
not a
that
pup
dog
anymore.
down. Yeah, that dog needs to be put down.
Something he is totally committed to. A spot he tries to, as authentically as possible, live his life as a cute, not-so-little pup. He does this by sleeping in a cage, walking on all fours, and eating dog treats from a bowl.
Wow.
It's a far cry from his life outside of the dog costume, as he works as a lighting and theater technician. So he has knee pads. See, I was wondering about the all fours thing, like hands and knees. So he has knee pads. So he's just got like his extra leg sticking out there, like dog deformity.
Oh yeah, so sure. If he was really committed to this,
He would be on hands and feet.
He'd cut
And that
off
his, he would just cut himself off at the knee.
Yeah.
Like Hank Hill's dad.
Straight like Cotton Hill.
That's right.
They took my leg. The Dalmatians took my shins.
Some Chinaman took them for me in Korea. He appeared on the show so that he could spread awareness for his rather unique lifestyle, and so that he could address some of the misconceptions that people may have about those who assume alternative identities. People think,
Tom said.
Translated. People think of it as seedy and that no one should see it. But we're not there to cause mischief. We're there to have fun and literally be treated like a puppy.
Wow.
So that means shock collars, hit with a newspaper when you pee on the floor.
There's more to this story too.
Oh my God, yes.
We noticed this lady here
Is so pissed.
Yeah, we got to find
What
out
happened?
who she
What
is.
happened? It went away. I can't read it now.
Uh-oh.
You lost the feed.
Isn't it? Here it's
His
up.
wife is very pissed, but that is one dedicated woman. That, I guess, unless she's into it too.
Yeah, she didn't look like she was.
No, she doesn't look like it at all.
Or maybe she woke up that morning and like he had shit on the floor or something. She was just
I guess
pissed
maybe,
at him.
or
I guess. I mean, the
or
guy
she-
wants to act the role.
She's like, honey, okay, I'm putting up with this. Why are there reporters in our house? Why are we fucking taking this public? God damn it.
Yeah,
Tom then went on to insist that it's not a sexual thing, it's a lifestyle. It's just escapism to get away from money and the hectic lifestyle we have. So it's a lot like the trans age guy. I just didn't want to adult anymore, so I'm 9 or 6 or whatever.
But you're still banging your
But you're still
adopted
banging
father.
your adopted father, right?
Gross.
However, he did suggest that it could be a catalyst and lead on to other things. Really? Dressing up in an entire full-body Dalmatian suit is the catalyst? Are you fucking kidding me?
Becoming like probably a real
You
dog.
have already gone well past the gateway
yeah.
drug of whatever
Yeah.
this is. Because you relax and unwind. Wait,
Sorry.
you could start from being a puppy and lead on to something in the bedroom, he added. And guess
Gross.
what? Like any other domesticated dog, he has a human companion in the form of his ex-fiancée,
Oh, shit.
Rachel Watson. Now, ex-fiancée is in now wife?
No, I feel like it's off. I feel like it's off.
Okay, so whatever he did as a human was bad enough that she didn't want to marry him, but yet she puts up with him when he's a dog.
Maybe,
I have a
maybe
feeling
was
that
the trade-off.
she is just as many screws loose as he does. Then, if that's the case, like if that makes you come back from being ex-fiance, then all right. Well, I mean, she's got issues too. While Rachel confessed that the couple called off the engagement back in 2008 because of Tom's bizarre lifestyle, she insisted that they are best friends. She then went on to say that they are closer now than they were when they were in a relationship. Right, because he shuts the fuck up and sleeps in a cage.
Yeah. I mean, and he's probably doesn't talk, so he's
Right.
just there.
Maybe she's just like really controlling and gets off on it. So she like, oh yeah, I've got this trained little puppy. When he was a man, I couldn't go shut the fuck up, and he would, and he
Yeah.
wouldn't. But now as a
But
puppy,
Yeah.
that's right.
Kick him.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in today. Why?
Is that coming through? I don't think that's coming through, bro.
Oh, don't worry about that then. I'll watch this. I'll make it sound fine. Well, we pretty much finished that part of that story, but I still want you to hear him. So
Okay.
Once I get rid of this, we'll be able to hear him through this little thing right here.
Live in.
There we go.
And just have a chance to chill and relax and have fun with the sort of.
I'm gonna go back to the beginning here, because he wants to chill and relax and barky bark.
A bit of chill.
You know, chase
Lovely
some
to see you
squirrels
both.
around.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in today. Why?
It's a means of it being able to escape from life, get away from the sort of day-to-day busyness that you sort of live in, and just have a chance to chill and relax and have fun with the sort of simple things of life, like a chew toy or sort of hair scritches and that kind of thing. So a chance to unwind, chill, and clear the mind, really.
But why not yoga? Why not meditation?
I don't quite know, to be honest.
Hey, I didn't think about that actually.
Oh, yoga does have a downward dog.
Hey, thanks. I didn't really think about that. Yoga. Great.
What is that? I'd never heard of that. I mean, everybody knows about pretending to be a dog, but what is this yoga?
All right, let's move on to this next. Crazy.
That was a good find.
That was a good one, right?
Yeah, I like it.
What do you think about it, actually?
It's very bizarre.
I mean, I guess if you're not hurting anybody, man, you do whatever you want to do in your own home.
I mean, would you still hang out with me if I decided to start doing that?
See, now it depends. Is that something like he gets home from work and he does that at home, or is that something like he wants to go out into public? Like if someone says, "Come to my birthday party," he shows up in a fucking dog costume and walks around on all fours the whole party. Like, does he still human? And this is just like his private time thing?
Yeah, I feel like he does it after work. Like he
Right.
gets right into costume.
So he doesn't go out to like social engagements as it.
I don't think so.
Then that'd be.
Well, no, I think he does go out there and does that.
Really?
He went on TV.
That's right. He did go on TV.
Maybe that's how, because they did say that a lot of people kind of judged him and they didn't care for it. So maybe that was when they would go out in public for a walk.
I just want to go out and I just want to, hump some legs and chase some squirrels.
Piss on some hydrants.
No big fucking deal. All right, let's. We got some news here. Germany or Florida?
Oh,
it's not.
It's obvious Florida. I can see it
because it says Florida here already. So
yeah.
Florida sheriffs arrested a 33-year-old man on Friday after a quote-unquote disturbing drawing depicting a mass school shooting was found in an elementary school student's homework. And if you look up at the screen right now, you can look it up. We pulled this off of RT, Russia Today, Russia Redacted. I think it's called Russia Today.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Okay, so they arrested the guy because it was found in a kid's homework?
Yeah.
That's obviously not a kid's drawing.
This is what's weird about it. Teachers at Port St. Joe Elementary School contacted authorities after discovering a picture on a student's homework that depicted a burning school building with people lined up outside being shot by a gunman. 2 people are pictured on the ground in what are presumably pools of blood. The words "pew pew pew" and "it burns" were scrawled alongside the gruesome scene. I know it sounds we shouldn't make jokes, but pew pew pew. That's like pew 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 pew.
Yeah, not even bang or whatever. Like.
So it's not like a guns. No guns sound like pew pew pew.
No, but that's the thing. Pew 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 pew. That's like the little kid finger gun noise when you're playing.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I got you. You're dead now. Pew pew. No, kid. It's not pew pew. It's bang bang. Not pew pew.
Gonna finger bang bang you into my life.
That's right. Detectives assigned to
what
the
the
case.
fuck is wrong with that guy's face?
Well, they quickly determined that Robert Paul Alexander Edwards.
That's too many names.
Too many first names.
You know that never trust a guy with 2 first names. Definitely don't trust a guy with 4 first names.
He's 33 years old. My goodness, he's my age.
What is with the early 30s in this fucking news segment today?
I don't know.
Thank God I'm in mid to late.
Must be a tipping point. I'm on the edge of it then.
I passed.
Let's see. Robert Paul Alexander Edwards, 33, was the creator of the macabre art. Oh, that's a weird word for me.
You're gonna try to say like macrame?
Yeah, I was gonna say macabre.
The
macabre.
He's the creator of the macabre art.
What does that mean?
The macabre?
Yeah, macabre.
Like kind of dark, creepy.
Yeah. He was arrested and charged.
How do you not know macabre?
With Megan. Yeah, I just never went to school. I was homeschooled.
Oh.
By this
well,
guy.
that answers everything.
By Robert Paul Alexander Edwards.
Okay.
He was arrested and charged with making written threats to kill or do bodily injury.
Why does he have? Oh, he has 13 tattooed on his bottom lip. I mean, yeah, that's.
It looks like he had his. Kind of looks like
he used to have a lip piercing there.
He's got quite a nice mustache.
Is that like a weird stick figure drawing on his right cheek? His right.
This thing right there looks like it's got a Freemason. Like you see, you got the compass right there, and
Is
then
that what that is? Oh, okay. I thought that looked like a dude, like the head right under his glasses, like a dude right there.
Oh, maybe that is. That's
I don't know. Someone humping the Freemason symbol.
Yeah. Writing,
all right,
writing something.
It's not immediately clear how Edwards was related to the student who turned in the homework. Quote, our country has been affected one too many times with horrific school tragedies. We take matters like this very seriously, said Sheriff Mike Harrison of the Gulf County Sheriff's Office in an online press release. So it's not immediately clear. What is that supposed to mean? They don't know how he's connected.
Yeah, how did his drawing end up in a student's homework? Was he at the school?
It sounds like a patsy to me.
Oh, no, if it was the homework, like the kid brought his homework back to school the next day and this was in there somehow.
This macabre art here, the macrame.
The macrame. That's pretty fucking interesting, man.
Investigators do not believe Edwards intended to act out the written threat, but given the recent spate of high-profile mass shootings at schools and churches across the U.S., police did not take any
nor fucking should they
chances, man.
Yeah. You don't fucking joke around about something like that.
Well, it's still unclear. So did the student draw? Did he draw?
I don't think that it's like I know students tend to do stick figures, but that is like a little too coherent.
Like, oh my goodness! I mean,
the picture and everything, the handwriting for sure is not a child.
They said it was in elementary school.
Right. There's no way a student or an elementary school kid's writing like that, and the stick figures are going to be all out of proportion with the building. You know.
I mean, yeah. Look at this one's running around. Oh,
yeah, that's definitely not an elementary school kid's handiwork.
I think it actually says it's boring. That's what they're saying. Oh, it's boring. And then, yeah,
it's so boring to be on fire and shot at.
It says, pew, pew, pew right
pew,
there.
Pew, pew.
Yeah, and you look at the writing on school.
Right. It's almost cursive.
Skew. Yeah, and like the writing over here doesn't look too great. But look at that R. That's a good looking R.
Right. That's definitely not that's not kids' work.
Anyways, that's what's going on in the world today right now. We got fucking.
So how do they even trace it back to him? Like, how do they?
That's the story right there. There's no way of knowing. I think he's probably a patsy of some type. And
so they found it in a kid's homework. Like one day at school, this kid brings his homework back, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck is this in there?" Obviously, we know it's not little Johnny's.
Yeah.
But
what's weird,
Mr. Forename over here. Like, how do they trace it back to him? There's no bit of the story that explains how.
Maybe he's
that's why it said it's unclear why he was like that. Maybe
he's like the uncle that's living with the family that.
Yeah, he's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah,
he's
like Fester in the Addams Family.
We're trying to hook him up with one more chance.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
life. He's my little
he's
brother,
trying.
and you got to do that. For family. So
that's fucking weird, man. I don't get it.
He did it for family. And that's the bottom line of that. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Emergency Exit number 60.
Big 60.
We've had a lot of fun. We are no longer on SoundCloud. You need to check us out on Podbeam. Tell your friends to check us out on Podbeam. Check out
Bean.
Yeah, Bean, not Beam. I think I said Beam last time, but it's BEAN as in Nancy.
Or Nick. Jesus, fuck, I'm right here, man. Come on.
Sure it's not Mancy?
Nancy Nick. Let's see. Check us out on iTunes. We had to redo our whole RSS feed, so now we're
still working on it.
So we need all those reviews. Come on back. So come on back and review. It'll be the last time you'll have to do that. Check out the Austin Facial Hair Club podcast that's on our network. It is a great show where we get down to the follicle on the events going around in town. So, in the meantime, for Nick Ryder, for Brandon Mitchell, I'm Love saying,
that's right.